and welcome to Ask MandRproductions episode 133. If you're new here, this is a series where I answer your questions, so if you have a question that you want potentially answered on next week's episode, leave it down in the comments section below. Leave a like on the video while you're down there as always. This week, or actually rather tonight, I've gotten a lot of offers from you guys, my fans, over the past, I guess, month, ever since we found out that the Star Wars summer sets would be delayed in the United States. Like, send me Lego Star Wars summer sets and everything. Don't worry about it. I got it handled. Video coming, like, same day as you're watching this video, Tuesday, maybe like 4 or 5 hours from the release of this video this evening, basically in my time. I'll have a video, hopefully, with a haul of all of the summer sets from the Lego Ambassador Network. So, very excited to have that box on the way, and thank you to all of you who reached out and said you could get me something. I've got it covered, but I very much appreciate all you. And I will have quite the grind ahead of me because there's like 15 or 16 pieces of content I want to make out of that. Gonna be very busy for me. Don't expect me to reply to like almost any, like nothing. I'm just gonna be very focused as I prepare a lot of content. Anyway, our first question this week comes from Ryan. He says, do you think that nostalgia affects you and your community's opinions on sets, just like your review of 4483? Nostalgia infiltrates everything. It affects everything. It affects the music I listen to. It affects the things I bought. Like, it affects, and probably the same for a lot of you guys. Like, it just affects you. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. It just is a thing that exists. Yeah, it affects my opinion on some sets, obviously. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, I can have a nostalgic love for it, but still see that it's objectively bad. Like the 4483 AT-AT. It just is. Like, I'll still like the set, I guess. It's just not as good as I had thought it was for so long. Daniel Ruins Film says, hey Ryan, what pizza company do you recommend? I'm gonna give you my quick rundown, my top 3 pizza places in 2020. First up, local joint, Bizarro's Pizza, either beachside or the one a lot closer to my house. There might be more, but those are the 2 that I know of. Again, local joint to Melbourne, Florida, and Melbourne Beach is the beachside one. Yeah, Bizarro's, very, very good. Love it. Can't say enough good things about it. Really cheap. Like, slice of pizza, 3 garlic knots, and a bottle of Coke is like $6.50. And then I like give a $2 tip or whatever, and I'm out the door. Number 2, Papa John's. I don't know why the donkey prank calls got into mind. I gotta re-listen to those now. But yeah, Papa John's, very good. I know Papa John obviously not in charge of it anymore, but I just really like the pizza. I think it's wonderful. I love getting it, like, I don't know, once a month or something. But yeah, Papa John's, very good as well. And I feel like I had a third answer here, but I can't think of my third answer. But those are like my 2 main go-tos. My stay away, absolute stay away. And I know some people are gonna feel very strongly about this, but that's Domino's. Domino's is not good. Paxton says, most Lego Star Wars sets always seem to increase in value over time. Do you know if there's ever been a set that has significantly decreased in value over time? No, nothing that I can think of has, like, you know, so let's say the retail price, just for simplicity, was $10. You're not gonna be buying it for $5 nowadays. Like, things don't go down in price after they retire in Lego Star Wars. I cannot think of a specific example of anything that released for, you know, a retail price and 5 years down the line cost less than it did originally. You're not gonna be finding those, like, at all. Like, that's just not how it seems to work. So I can't think of an example like that. I will say I've been very surprised lately by how much a lot of things have been increasing very rapidly in value. Obviously, a lot of things are contributing to this, with the Clone Wars coming back, the rumors of, like, Rebels sequel, and then you obviously have, like, people like me getting into Rebels, like, that just help kind of increase the demand for something that there is no more supply of. And then I would also say something like COVID obviously is going to be contributing to that, because there's just a shortage of Lego in general, so people are looking to eBay and things to buy Lego, and then they're seeing all these things and buy, like everything just seems to be skyrocketing in value, and I'm like, why didn't I just buy like 1 billion of those? I could be reselling. I could have been a millionaire at this point if I had, like, made the right moves. Like, there's some very surprising increases. Yeah, but nothing has gone down in value that I can think of. Maybe the closest thing to it would be like the advent calendars don't seem to jump up in value. They seem to kind of hover around their retail price. But other than that, everything is just skyrocketed. Next up, Scalper says, I have a YouTube channel that is mostly speed builds. Do you think speed builds are made for kids or not? So this is a decision that I made myself, is that I marked my channel for speed builds as made for kids, or rather I got rid of all the videos on there, privated them at some point because I didn't want to deal with it. I'm sorry, you can probably hear some background noise. There's some people over at the house, whatever. But obviously that's a decision you have to make, and I know it's really dumb the way YouTube has it set up right now, and it's probably not going to change, to be honest, so let's just leave it at that. But yeah, I think that you should probably mark them as made for kids. That being said, some of the biggest Lego speed building channels out there do not mark their speed builds build videos as made for kids, so you can probably get away with it and be completely fine. Like, I don't think I would worry about it, but I basically decided that for myself, I would mark them as made for kids, or rather just get rid of it completely and transition into something else on that channel eventually, which is actually going to end up being like a podcast highlights channel for something that's coming. So if you're asking me, I would say yes, but if you look at some of the other people in the space, it doesn't seem like that's going to be a thing you really have to mark as made for kids. I mean, I think it's all dumb, the COPPA thing, but you know, it is what it is. Hopefully I've helped you, at least nudge you in a direction to help you be more informed. 501st Brick says, what would be your ideal LEGO May the 4th promotion? Minifigures. Next up, Hayden Hayes says, why are the Clone Wars ATRT walkers so oversized? This is something that the LEGO designers have said is to kind of increase the amount of detail that you can put on something, as well as like the playability of something like that. So that is why they tend to be oversized compared to minifigure scale. You also run into the problem of like you're confined to the pieces you have in LEGO, and you can either have these kind of small things or you can have these large things. So there's no real in between there. So yeah, that's why they're oversized, as much as I don't really give a flying F about, like, I don't care. Like, I don't know how else to say it. I don't care that they are bigger than they are supposed to be. But it is something that I see a lot of you guys bring up, and I'm just like, I couldn't care less. But that is the reason why, according to LEGO designers, as to why they make them bigger than they should be. Cosmic Brick says, when you were younger and starting a YouTube channel, were your parents okay with it, or did you have to convince them? No, like, I think I was okay to start a YouTube channel, although I would say that it was a very different time. And now parents will just hand kids an iPad and internet access and like do whatever the hell you want. Like, we had a family computer, is in the living room, like like there was nothing nefarious that could possibly happen, you know? Like, it was pretty on the up and up. And again, it was a very different time in 2009. So like, I didn't have to do any arguing or convincing. I was just like, hey, my friends at school have a YouTube channel. I want to have a YouTube channel. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Moving on to Cam's question here. It says, what is a better way to build a clone army? Buy 501st battle packs or wait for a clone battle pack? So the answer to your question is wait for a clone battle pack, because what you're saying here is buy the $30 501st sets that will have 4 clone troopers, or buy $15 clone battle pack that you're hoping may come out next year, and that will have 4 clone troopers. So the answer to your question, if you're trying to build a clone army with the biggest number of clones for the least amount of money, is obviously going to be buy the one that costs less but has the same amount, right? Like, that is the answer to your question. Like, I mean, there's no way around it. You may be in a little bit of a tunnel vision there if you're just trying to do it the cheapest way, biggest, like, fastest way possible. Like, you may want to have some diversity in your clone army. Like, the 501st clone troopers, in all likelihood, if they were to make a $15 battle pack in January that has clone troopers, 4 clone troopers, let's say, wouldn't have any 501st troopers in it. So you might want to get, like, I don't know, 10 501st battle packs and like 20 of these cheaper ones, and then you get a pretty big clone army for, you know, 66% of the price that it would have cost to get just 30 501st regular battle packs. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Like, I think I've put it in a way that makes sense, but like, obviously buying something that costs less but includes the same amount is going to be the better way, as I would assume you are inferring. Vigard Peterson has a pretty long one for us, but he says, what do you think about the LEGO minifigure quality? I find it to be much worse now than it was before, especially with the arms. At first they were fine, but over the months when you don't use them and move on the arms, they kind of break and come loose. They are not that tight. I haven't had that problem specifically, so I'm not sure. Like, let me grab a figure that I haven't used in like 5 years. So this is a Wolfpack Trooper from 2014. I like haven't used this figure at all over the last, I don't know, 5 years, like 6 years. Arms feel fine, everything looks fine. I don't see why how anything's gonna be breaking, like no cracks, nothing. I will say the problem I've noticed over the years now is kind of how full the print looks. Like, the newer prints on minifigures tend to seem light, and if that makes it, like, in a way that if you look at the eyebrows on like a Harry Potter minifigure, in the past they would be much darker and well-defined. Now they're kind of blurrier, and you can kind of see some of the skin underneath. Like, it's a little bit of a less quality print. I've noticed that with the printing versus like the arms. I can't say I've noticed the arm thing. I wish I had the poll thing so maybe people could vote, but let me know in the comments if you've noticed that. But I just have not noticed arms being a problem, like coming loose and things. Like, this feels almost good as new to me, and it's been, you know, 6 years since I pulled it out of the box. So can't really speak to your issue there. Baku Cash Register says, should I throw away Lego Star Wars boxes? If so, why? You should throw away your boxes now before you become an addict like me, unable to part with your boxes, and then it starts taking up a lot of space. So yeah, throw away your boxes. They don't really mean anything. Kevin Mao says, is there a Lego Star Wars set you like but not loved by the general public? So you're basically asking, what is my guilty pleasure Lego Star Wars set? Perhaps a good answer to this would be the newer Luke's Landspeeder. Like, most people in the community just vehemently hate it because it's another Luke's Landspeeder, but it is a really good design. It looks good. They changed up the building technique as well. I can't really complain about it for that. So that might be my guilty pleasure Lego Star Wars set. Moving on from Angel, he says, I recently finished rebuilding all of my Lego Star Wars sets, and I realized that every single one of my sets include at least one single light gray piece. I was wondering if you know of any Lego Star Wars sets that have 0 light gray pieces. Literally the first set that I saw when I looked in Bricklink to just search and see if I can find one without light gray piece, that was it. I don't know why this is a problem though, because like there are some main colors that you're gonna find in pretty much any Lego set to begin with. Like, I don't know, you can go look at like a car, like any car set's gonna have black because the tires are black. Like, I don't know. I just don't see it as a thing. The Smart Swine says, what Clone Battalion battle pack do you think they should make next? I don't think they should make, I mean, everyone keeps saying 2/12 battle packs, so that one they probably should remake. Like, the price on that has gotten ridiculous on eBay and Bricklink, I've noticed. I would say maybe that would work. Galactic Marine is ultimately the one. I think Nova Corps would be like their thing. I don't think they have a number, but Galactic Marines are like the Clone Battalion, whatever that is what I think should be made. Noel De Leon says, when can we expect to see some deals on the current Lego Star Wars sets to make room for the new inventory coming in? I don't know if you've noticed or like been to the store in the last few months, but there's no inventory to clear out. I don't think we're going to be seeing any summer clearance deals that, like for Lego. Why would they clearance out things that they can't even keep on the shelves? That doesn't make sense to me. I wouldn't expect to see clearance deals. I mean, maybe, like, there's always a chance they put stuff on clearance, but like, if I was Target and Walmart, I'm not putting anything on clearance this year. Like, there's no reason to. Everything is selling like hotcakes. They can't keep it on the shelves. Shelves were empty for months. Like, there's no reason to put anything on clearance. So I wouldn't expect to see anything like that happen this year. Maybe we could see something like that in December, January for the 2021 stuff. But as far as summer 2020 stuff, I highly, highly doubt we would see something like that. But then again, these are big corporations. They just work on schedules. So it could be that they don't make any changes and then they just keep their like regular thing. And they're like, all right, it's mid-July, clearance time, no matter what. Like, it's possible that happens too, but if they were smart business people, and obviously they have to be the biggest stores in America, they would just not put anything on clearance because there's no reason to, because it's going to sell itself. Dalton Smith says, how do you feel about Mega Constructs? I collect the Halo line, and I feel that although conceptually the two brands are almost the same, but they both use different pieces, different building techniques, and different points of accuracy. Thoughts? Thanks. I think that the figures on Mega Constructs are weird. Like, the minifigure is a unique thing that's not supposed to be too humanoid. Like, it does, like, obviously it represents like a human, still holding the Wolfpack Trooper here, but obviously it's supposed to be like somewhat shaped like a human, but they don't make it like super accurate on purpose because it kind of has a charm in that way. I don't like the way the Mega Constructs figures look. I think they're just overkill. I would also say, like, with Mega Constructs, the quality of the brick is less. Like, I think that's obvious to a lot of people when you just hold them, although some people will be like, oh, it's the same thing, like Coke and Pepsi, or more like Coke and Great Value Coke. Like, they're not the same, okay? I don't know. How do I feel about it? Like, I don't care about it at all. It's something I walk by in the store and don't really give a second thought to. It's like a lot of things. Like, you know, I don't feel like I have to feel strongly one way or the other. Like, they exist. I don't particularly care for them, and I just pay attention to the stuff that I like, because I'm not going to get caught up on something like that I really have no interest in. Thought it would be fun. I've been talking with Brickitect about this. Like, we've been throwing around this idea of doing a video, much like I think Austin Evans did. He did like a buying all the Samsung products, like a making the switch type video from Lego to Mega Constructs for a day and trying out, like, you know, one of each price tier of a Mega Construct set. So maybe I'll do that. We'll see. It's an idea I've had and would like to execute. So maybe you'll see me do a Mega Constructs video here one day. Toast Butter says, do you think there will be promotional Lego figures that come with the Lego Star Wars The Skywalker game? I hope so. Usually they do it with the deluxe version that costs like $70 or whatever. So I'm praying that we do get a promotional Lego Star Wars figure with the game. But as of now, I don't know that that's happening, and they've made no announcement, and there's no rumors, so I have nothing I can really tell you about that. But I'm hoping that it's something, and that it's something that we haven't seen before. FCHY Gaming says, would you like to see a Betrayal at Cloud City, but for Geonosis? I hate to break it to you, but both the Betrayal at Cloud City and the UCS Hoth, like these big $250, $350 diorama playsets, didn't sell well, and they retired relatively quickly. So there's very little chance they would do that for something that's even less popular than Cloud City and Hoth, right? So yes, I would like to personally see it. I've talked about that a billion times. But is it going to happen? No, let's be realistic here. It's not going to happen. Like, I'm not going to keep sugarcoating that one. Like, no, not gonna happen. So hopefully we get like smaller things from that, but there's no way they'd ever do like a $300 set based on that. Johan Vareem says, what is the most underrated and overrated Lego Star Wars set in your opinion? 236 upvotes, so I felt like I had to answer this, but I've done videos I think on both of these topics, but I'll give you like my modern answers, like just pertaining to sets that you can buy right now on lego.com. What is overrated and what is underrated? I think my answer for most underrated set, mostly because I think it gets a lot of blind hate because Luke's Landspeeder is, you know, the meme set to meme on and make fun of and get a lot of likes on your YouTube comment. I think that's underrated. I think it has very quickly found itself underrated. I don't think it's like the best set ever. I think that that's an argument you can't really make. But to say it's like a 1 out of 10, I think is just blind hate. And yeah, I would say it's pretty underrated given the circumstances the set was released under. I have a couple of overrated sets, both the Mandalorian Battle Pack and the AAT. I think the Mandalorian Battle Pack is nice. It's fine, but I think people like have gone wild for it, and I don't understand it. I just think that that one's not as all-time great as some people seem to want to say it is. Although, you know, it's not, like, I don't know. I think it's a little too colorful, a little too kiddie to me. I know, obviously, Lego's for kids, you know, you're gonna say that, but, like, it's just too colorful to me. It should have been a little bit darker on some of those colors, and that's just the way I feel about it. The AAT is absolutely overrated. I've been seeing it get a lot of blind love because it has Ahsoka and a 332nd Trooper, but the AAT is objectively inaccurate and terrible. It just is, and I cannot wait to review it because I am going to make so much fun of it. I can't wait to compare it to the older models. I got them all. They're not there anymore. It's over there. But yeah, it's all cleaned up, ready to go. Like, the new AAT is bad. So I am ready to rip into it. Those are my two, like, overrated sets that you can currently buy, or you're about to be able to buy. They're available on lego.com in 2020 right now. Julian says, what Lego Star Wars wave was the most disappointing to you? I would honestly say that I really like this summer wave, but this summer wave, we did kind of hope for a lot more than we ended up getting. You know, there have been some surprises in there, but a lot of people wanted to see an ATTE. A lot of stuff from Mandalore could have been made, and more Mandalorian sets, and, you know, obviously we're getting the Razor Crest, and we got the AAT in the File First Battle Pack, but I think on the whole, this summer 2020 wave is disappointing. And there's recency bias there. I'm sure if I went back and looked at every wave ever, I could find one that's been more disappointing. But like, this one just kind of missed the mark with making more Clone Wars things that should have been made, as well as more stuff from the Mandalorian, like a cheaper Mando set. Brickheads doesn't count. Obviously nice Brickheads, but like doesn't count as like an actual set. So that's what I would say, is that this summer wave has been somewhat disappointing. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. They just made some weird choices. Anakin's Interceptor didn't need to be remade at this point quite yet, and they could have done something else from the more modern clone. And obviously the reuse of character torsos, the General Grievous Starfighter, not including Phase 2 Cody, like, just, yeah, generally there were a lot of disappointments with this summer 2020 wave. I think that that's fair to say. I don't know if it's ultimately the most disappointing. Like I said, I don't want to go through and think about everything ever right now, but that just is what comes to mind with this most recent wave. But I am still very excited to get the sets tonight. Thank you all for watching, though. If you did enjoy Ask M&R, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And if you want to check out more Ask M&R Productions, you can do so with the playlist on the end screen now. Commander Wolf out.